On NEA Report tonight, more details about the Greene County Sheriff's Officer Narcotics Lieutenant Scott Pillow and what resulted this week in his arrest, how it all happened. We now have much more information as the federal agents' affidavits have been released, and we've got details on how the investigation started on Monday, resulted in a search warrant by the end of Monday, and on Tuesday resulted in Pillow being caught red-handed. At least that's what the authorities are telling us. And we'll talk about it next on NEA Report right here. So the past 24 hours have yielded a lot more information about the arrest of Lieutenant Scott Pillow with the Greene County Sheriff's Office. He's now no longer with the Greene County Sheriff's Office, by the way. He's been fired there. But we know now why he's been fired, and we know why he's in trouble, and he could be in a lot of trouble too. So let's go through this and tell you what we found out today. It's different reporting, and it's also some new court documents that were made available after our live stream yesterday. The Greene County Sheriff's Office lieutenant there that you're looking at, Scott Pillow, Alan Scott Pillow, in the court records. Earlier this week, it was on Monday, whenever he was contacted by Tennessee authorities, Tennessee officers that said they needed help with a narcotics investigation. The Tennessee officers told him at the Lowe's parking lot in Paragould, there was a vehicle there, a rented vehicle with a backpack that had cash sticking out of it and a meth pipe. Basically, an officer's dream is to have in open view something that has loads of cash and obvious drug activity, an illegal piece of paraphernalia. That's all you need. If you're an officer, you can go into the vehicle without a search warrant with that. And so the problem was Tennessee officers, they said they didn't have authority in Paragould to operate like that. So what they were going to do was hopefully work with somebody here that could do that for them and help them out. Pretty common thing in law enforcement, not exactly uncommon. And Scott Pillow was the person they called. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he would be the person to call, at least on Monday this week, maybe not today. He was in charge of the narcotics division at the Greene County Sheriff's Office. He was over the whole thing, the 55-year-old lawman who went to work there in June and was also an Arkansas State Police trooper for many years. And so Pillow arrives and he takes all the stuff out of the vehicle and he puts it, in his work vehicle, and he tells the officers once he gets to the department, he'll count it out and he'll let them know how much was there. The officers already knew how much was there because those weren't really Tennessee officers. They were actually federal agents. The FBI had organized a task force because they were doing a public corruption investigation into Scott Pillow. And so they placed $76,000, huge amount of cash. 10 bundles of $7,600 each. They put that out in plain view. $76,000. And when Scott Pillow got to the Greene County Sheriff's Office, he counted it out, and he called the Tennessee, supposedly, officers. He told them he had counted a lot less. $45,600 was what he said he counted out then. That is obviously significantly less. That's $30,000 less than what was in the backpack. But in Scott Pillow's mind, that's drug dealer money. Who cares? I'm taking it from a drug dealer, right? He deserves it. No. It actually wasn't. And even if it would have been a drug dealer, that's not how the law is supposed to work. But we know things don't always work how they're supposed to around here, or anywhere, for that matter. Seems like a lot around here, too, though. So FBI agents, they get the call from Pillow. He says, I've counted $45,600. I'm putting that into evidence. And they go, well, okay, thanks, appreciate it. Have a good day. This whole time, they're following him. They're following him around, and they watch him drive his work truck home, walk into a detached garage. Then after that, he goes into his home. That's on Monday. Monday ends, and Tuesday is a really bad day for Scott Pillow then. because FBI and other law enforcement officers, they get together. This task force includes, by the way, Arkansas State Police members, some people that Pillow may have worked with. Probably not, though, just based on the way they're trying to keep everything separated. One way or another, it seems like it didn't really matter much. This search warrant had been authorized on Monday when all this stuff was going down by U.S. Magistrate Judge Tricia Harris. So officers on Tuesday, they move in. And they move in force. Unmarked vehicles, you've seen the photos from Channel 8. KIT had great coverage. They were out there that day. Incredible stuff. And the officers boxed him in with their unmarked cars while he was checking his mail, edge of the property. Okay? The FBI task force officer, Officer Joe Pickett of Arkansas State Police, identified himself, patted down the Greene County Sheriff's lieutenant that you're looking at, and he felt a large bundle, that's the quote, in the right pocket of Pillow. Well, what happened next, they found that was a stack of currency. And the serial numbers on that matched the money that was supposed to have been entered into evidence at the Greene County Sheriff's Office. But instead of being entered into evidence, that money was being entered into Scott Pillow's attic. Specifically into his safe in Scott Pillow's attic, where it was kind of an interesting setup. Let me just kind of describe it. We told you he went into that detached garage before he went home, right? Well, when authorities searched, they found a key ring inside of the truck that had a key on it, unlocking a safe that was hidden inside of a cooler in the attic of the garage. Yeah. And I mean, this was obviously something he didn't set up that day, right? He didn't put the cooler up there and the safe in it and all that, 10 minutes before he went out there to get that. At least I wouldn't think so. And so, what the officers found when they opened up that safe, right? They found the money. They found the money, the stolen money. Serial numbers matched the recorded serial numbers that the FBI had, taken down on the money that they put in the backpack. Pillow was obviously arrested at this point. He's in handcuffs. Well, I assume he's in handcuffs. I don't have the video. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they took him to Burger King. But I'm assuming he's in handcuffs. So then they go to the Greene County Sheriff's Office. They start searching. They find that, yep, sure enough, he wrote $45,600 down on the documentation of what he had taken out of that believed drug dealer's backpack in the Lowe's parking lot. That was stored in the evidence locker. Of course, it was really federal money. Because it was federal money, the complaint charges him with theft of government property. The Greene County Sheriff had put him on leave pending that internal investigation, but the statement I got yesterday was he was fired. He's out of here. Pillow was also released from Pulaski County Jail yesterday. It's just a situation where he surrenders his passport. I'm told by a law enforcement officer they don't really put a big bond on him unless they think they're going to go kill somebody. I guess just the level of a federal case is they're going to get you, and you're not going to get away from U.S. Marshals. So there's a pretty strong confidence in that amongst authorities. Because I know people will ask, well, why wasn't a bond set? And I'm not making the case that it should or shouldn't have been. I'm just trying to explain to you what at least some of the logic behind that might have been. The issue comes back down to a big question. And it's not just what happened here in the theft of government funds that we know about that happened here. The question is, what caused them to launch this public corruption investigation? What made them think that Scott Pillow would steal $30,000? Clearly, there must have been something that happened before. Maybe multiple times before. And the most alarming part is he only worked there since June. So, if that's the case, was this stuff happening back when he was with Arkansas State Police as well? And if so, are we going to find more investigations detailing back to that? See, it's really, and I'm a little bit of an assessment here, a professional assessment. It's a lot harder to prove you stole money from a drug dealer, right? Because drug dealers have illegal money. They're not keeping big, detailed records of the stuff, and sometimes it's just wads of cash. I don't know how many cases might have been reported in that realm that will never be provable in court. What would you, how are you going to charge that anyway? So what they had to decide to do was make it to where he took government money. He had to steal government money before they could bust him on this. Otherwise, the charge just wouldn't have been enough. And frankly, it would have probably been too difficult to prove, if not impossible. But I would like to now know what the alleged thefts that were inspiring of this investigation were. Something led to this investigation being launched. Suspicions, right? And we'll eventually find those out. But all of a sudden, people that might not have had a lot of credibility that said Scott Pillow treated me bad or Scott Pillow broke the law when he arrested me, all of a sudden, all of those people have a voice now. And so we want to hear from those people. I want to be really clear about that. If you want to contact us, it's news@neareport.com. Send us anonymous. Doesn't have to be anonymous. It can be on the record, off the record. But I want to hear from you, especially if something happened to you with this law enforcement officer that wasn't on the straight and narrow. I don't care if you're a drug dealer, or you were, or still are for that matter. I just want to know what happened. A lot of times we say in our society, well, I can't report anything bad to the police, because I have my things that are illegal, whether somebody is a, pot smoker, or maybe they're a dealer, a drug dealer. And I'm not endorsing, maybe the former, but certainly not the latter. But what I am saying is, don't let these factors hold you back from telling us what you think happened here, or what you may have encountered with the individual too. Because suddenly all of the stories I'm seeing online, most of which aren't very flattering, by the way, on this guy, suddenly they're making a little bit less of, an absurd sound whenever you hear somebody cry the alarm. The boy who cried wolf, so to speak. A lot of times people don't listen to those who are in the criminal justice process, who are facing charges. We don't listen to them enough sometimes because they broke the law, and of course they're going to lie about it. So that puts them in a disadvantage, and that means if it's their word against a cop, the cop's word is taken 10 times out of 10. Not 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10. It's always taken over the word of the accused, and that's how this stuff is able to happen. Not rarely either. It's able to take place pretty commonly. It's just unfortunate because this is someone that's been at the forefront of a lot of investigations in this area. And there's photos of him with every prosecutor and every law enforcement officer around here. It's like how that when one person gets arrested for something, you start looking at them and wondering, did nobody around them notice? Did nobody around them know? You shouldn't be making $30,000 or $40,000 a year and getting extra $30,000 or $40,000 in cash every few months. That should set off an alarm somewhere, whether it's with a family member, whether it's with a coworker who's wondering where you're getting all these, new things from, or, whatever. Or maybe, maybe there was a lot more smarts to this than we're aware of, and if there was money taken before, it was well hidden. The thing about money is it's a awful motivator for people, and it's almost one of those things that brings out the worst. People will throw away their entire ethics and careers just for a little bit of money, just to try to, get ahead. And maybe that's a testament to our society. Maybe that means we need to take a look at making legal hard work more profitable, right? Maybe that's what we need to do. But that's a debate for another day, because today the debate is about why an Arkansas law enforcement officer took federal money and what caused them to launch that investigation in the first place. Now, what else are we going to find out? And another question is if there's anybody else that we're going to find out about. A lot of questions. We're going to keep asking them.